Welcome, everyone. This is the October 2024 edition of Cards and Coffee with Colleen and Kathi. My name is Colleen Lemma. I am an intuitive, professional astrologer, card reader, Akashic record reader, Reiki Master and teacher. I also am certified in hypnosis and past life regression and Ho'oponopono. And I teach lots of different types of classes and lectures. So my website is Sacred Soul Empowerment. My meetup page, if you've come through that, is Sacred Soul Empowerment as well, just to make it easy for everyone to find me. Kathi and I, my good friend Kathi here, we've been doing the Cards and Coffee for well over a year. Gosh, it might be going on 2 years now. I don't know. And we try to do this once a month. And I don't want to forget, and I have this feeling like I'm going to forget. So I'm going to tell you right now, the next Cards and Coffee is scheduled for Sunday, November 17th. So you can make a note of that if you want to join. I think I've introduced myself sufficiently. I'm going to let Kathi introduce herself, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the energies of the collective before we dip into choosing people for mini readings. Kathi?
Hi, my name is Kathi Munson. I am the owner of Voices of Enlightenment. I am a psychic medium, Reiki Master teacher, past life regressionist, high dimension energy healing, and many, many, many other things. My website is Intuitive cat spelt with a K. Working on the Voices of Enlightenment. So I didn't make mine as easy as Colleen. So but intuitivecat@gmail.com. If you want to email me, you certainly could message me through Facebook and on Voices of Enlightenment or Kathi Munson. I have three personas on Facebook, so just pick one. And that's it. I'm excited to be here today.
Yes, you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram under Colleen Lemma or Sacred Soul Empowerment as well. So let's kind of dip into the energy of the collective. And Kathi and I were just chatting for a couple of minutes before we let you all in from the waiting room. And it's quite a split of the energies that I'm perceiving or the information that I'm getting, what I've been experiencing myself since I'm going to say the middle of August of this year when we had a full moon in Aquarius. It started to go a little topsy-turvy. And then, of course, we had two eclipses, a full moon lunar eclipse and Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, kind of initiating this karmic clearing. And then we had a new moon solar eclipse in Libra, which focuses on the energy of partnerships and the balance of the relationships in our lives, as well as the relationship with ourselves and the relationship with spirit. And this past Thursday, we just had a full moon in Aries, and full moons are about endings and completion. But Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, which is about new beginnings and fresh starts. But I have to say that even that full moon was really affecting me in the way of kind of like some frustration energies. I did not sleep well at all around that full moon. I was up at all hours of the night. But what I'm getting as far as what to share with you all, one thing that my guides told me is to share the vibration of this month of October, which we're nearing the end of, and then the vibration of the month of November, which we're about to go into. And I look at that both numerologically, but also it relates to tarot cards, right? Whatever it is numerologically, we look at what the number of the major arcana in the tarot is to kind of get an idea and a clue of the energy for any particular month. And this is on a collective level. Of course, you all have a personal, vibration that you're also in that kind of overlays this collective energy. But this is the card for October. This is the moon card. And the moon card in the tarot is often about our fears and anxieties. It can also be about our intuition and the expansion of our psychic sight, if you will, or any psychic abilities. But on the shadow side, it does deal with the shadow. It does deal again with these insecurities and these fears and these anxieties. And this is what October has kind of been all about is the removal of or the transmuting of these lower kind of energies, these fears that often are not based in reality. I mean, sometimes, yes, there's experiences out there, situations we're going through, and they're, causing us anxiety and fear. But a lot of times what we fear or what we get anxious about is just kind of a creation within our own beingness regarding past life or even past in this life situations that we've been through. Now, I also got messages again that emulate this card when I was doing my meditation. I was getting like, oh, well, this lovely card here, these attachment energies where we feel like we're in the cobwebs here, we're needing to clear these cobwebs. We're needing to clear these attachments. Yeah, there's Kathy's ghost card. So this was like, pretty similar in the energy where we're clearing some of this old, shadow side of the fears and anxieties and past attachments. And they were also along with that saying, um, we're clearing karmic contracts. Like there's been a lot of clearing the last couple of months of old vows that we might have taken in other lifetimes, karmic contracts that we have, maybe in relationship with other people. Maybe the karmic contracts have to do with like lack of prosperity and abundance, that kind of mentality where we're lacking or feeling a lack of, or we're feeling dazed and confused about our life purpose and our life path. And so some of these karmic contracts are being released and let go right now. They said we're transmuting or transcending fear. We're moving through difficulties right now. And to look at the positive aspect of all of that, they said it's in relation to claiming our power, taking our power back and claiming our power from these old fears and anxieties. I will say that Archangel Zadkiel came in, and Archangel Zadkiel uses this violet flame energy to transmute lower vibrational situations or mindsets or belief systems. So if you want assistance in kind of transmuting or transcending some of these fears and anxieties, call upon Archangel Zadkiel, envision that violet purple flame of light. Saint Germain is an ascended master that also uses that violet flame to kind of transmute and release. Now I'm going to move into November because November vibrates to the sun card, which is right after the moon. So we're moving from the shadows of the moon into the light of the sun. And you can see here that it's about expressing our light. We're coming back out, right? Like right now, we feel like maybe we're in this cocoon sort of phase, but now we're coming back out into the light and we're ready to express our independence, our creative self-expression, our joy, our happiness, our empowered selves. Now, it doesn't mean that it's all like it's like night and day, right? We think of the moon and then the sun, and it's like night going into day. This particular card is the 19th major arcana. And in numerology, the 19 is a karmic number and does deal with endings and new beginnings. So I feel like we're still like moving through some of the completion phase, some of the ending phase of whatever's been happening and going on the last couple of months, but we're definitely starting to see the light and be more positive and optimistic about what's to come. And I also, as an astrologer, feel like this is likened to the planet Pluto moving back into Aquarius, which is, when is it, November 19th. And Pluto deals with transformation. Pluto deals with big changes. It's like a death and rebirth sort of energy, right? Where we're moving again out of the shadows and into the light. And it's been in Capricorn for a really long time, over 20 years. And Capricorn rules the patriarchal system, the people that are in power, fear and control and all of this. Of course, it rules positive things as well. If any of you have Capricorns out there, it rules motivation and career and kind of climbing the ladder to more of a state of success and being seen. So there's a lot of great things about Capricorn, but as it moves into Aquarius for the next 20 some years, it's really transforming us or allowing us to transmute some of the old ways and move into a new, brighter way for humanity. Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian. It's the sign of groups of people coming together to help one another. And I have to say, living in South Carolina, upstate South Carolina, and not too far away from Hurricane Helene hitting North Carolina and what it's done as far as the damage to North Carolina, there's groups of people coming together, helping one another, helping their neighbor, people coming in from other states across the country to help rebuild. And that's kind of what this Pluto going into Aquarius is all about. We're moving into a new age, the Aquarian age, where we're here to help one another, love one another, assist one another, and build a new way, to create a new way. So going along with that energy, I've got in my meditation the promise of a new beginning. We've got people being more loving and compassionate towards one another. We've got faith and trust in humanity, and faith and trust in yourself. And also, I have to say that the high priestess came up. So this is what we're supposed to be doing right now, is moving into this high priestess energy, which is about empowered divine feminine energy. And what is divine feminine? It's unconditional love, compassion, forgiveness, nurturing, caring for other people. But the priestess is also very strong, and she's empowered in herself, and she's a leader, and she's going to take charge with this divine feminine energy that we're in. In fact, they said right now we're in this cosmic womb of feminine energy, and we're getting to kind of birth it out with this priestess energy, finding your inner priestess to move forward for yourself, for your friends, for your family, for humanity. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to let Kathi kind of take over here and let us know what she got about the collective energies right now.
Yeah, like very similar. It doesn't surprise me that Colleen and I are a lot in sync because I got a lot of the same things that Colleen got. The moon card came up for me also when I was pulling, which to me, well, the way that I look at things, I'm not an astrologist like Colleen, but intuitively, the moon to me is always like the brightness, like when there's a full moon, you can see so clearly. And it's almost like we just need to wait and get through what's going on in the universe, like sort of pay attention to it. Don't ignore it, feel it, sense it, allow yourself to process it. But it's also to the point of like getting past it, like being able to move on, because we know that there are good things coming. So when we're releasing karma, of course it doesn't feel good. We're working on things, our shadow side of ourselves, trying to go through it, trying to admit through it, and trying to get past it. And the more that you can pay attention and the more that you watch yourself and hold yourself accountable and get yourself through it, the quicker you're going to be able to pass through it. So, a lot of things I always talk about, like being on a speed bump. Sometimes you feel like you're just vacillating on that speed bump. Like, I'm going to get over it sooner or later. It's going to happen. And just kind of hanging in there. There's a lot of distraction happening out here, like outside of ourselves. And it really is a time for us to really try to stay as focused on ourselves. In some way, if you want to say that you're being selfish, it is a selfish time for us to sort of look at ourselves, to be able to get ourselves to heal and grow beyond and move beyond. And the high priestess is a great example of women coming together, not just women, everyone coming together with themselves, uniting with themselves, and knowing when to emit that power and when to kind of pull it back and just kind of hold it in reserve. There's a lot of like growing through things. I pay attention to Colleen's posts that she does. We were just talking about this before we signed on, and I said I'm reading it, and it's very positive. But from what I'm hearing, like all my clients and seeing with other people, it's like I don't think it's quite caught on in the universe yet. Is sort of what my take on that has been. But it's also not getting stuck in that. Like I almost feel like a lot of things that are happening are smoke screens. Like you have to look beyond what's happening. You have to look at the bigger picture. Like Colleen shared about, the hurricanes that came through. You have to look at the bigger picture. I'm not saying that I would want anybody hurt. And certainly that's not the way we want to shift and evolve our universe. But we also have to remember, as much as we are shifting and the collective is shifting, so is the earth. And she has to, release and shift and change with us as well, because we're all growing and evolving and moving up in vibration. And so that takes a lot. It takes a lot to get everyone on the same path and in the same alignment and in the same adjustment. So allowing yourself to grow and evolve and feel and sense and go through the things that you need to, keep people around you that can help to boost you up, that can lift you up as opposed to, take you down, so to speak. Try to stay with those that will continue to lift you up and be able to raise you above what's going on. And when they need help, you'll be there for them. And that's why we're seeing the collective. This is what we've needed for the collective to come together. And the whole time, if you've ever watched the universe, which I'm sure you have, anytime that we all go together and forget about our personal things that we believe in, guidance that we have, is when there is something that's happening, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's fires, whether it's floods, whether it's earthquakes, we always come together to help everybody. And that's a lot of what the universe is trying to do, is shift us back together to be able to send that love. Love is the biggest thing that I keep talking about, is sending love out there, guiding love out there, getting rid of the judgment, getting rid of all of that, including with yourself, because no one can judge me as good as I can judge myself. That's a for darn sure. And I've actually said, really, that's the best you can do? Because I can give you some things if you'd really like to, follow through with what you're trying to call me or think I am or whatever. No one can do it better than yourself. So, but allow yourself to get past that. Allow yourself to stop judging yourself and judging the rest of what's going on out there. Everyone is doing the best that they know how in the moment. And that's what we have to keep reminding ourselves. When people are making choices, when you feel like you're being attacked, they're doing the best that they know how. Right, wrong, good, bad, it doesn't matter. They're trying to evolve into that more positive light to the best that they know how. And you're clearly doing it to the best that you know how. So the best thing that we can do is just keep paying attention, allow ourselves to feel, allow the emotions to come, allow it to release in the way that needs to be released. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day because I had just read Colleen's post, and I said, the energy out here, because I was driving from my home to my space, and I was like, the energy out here is a little daunting. Like the energy just felt so off. But yet I live in Connecticut. So the visual, but I'm like, but the visual is amazing because the trees are just so gorgeous here right now, that I was like, it's just so pretty. So I'm just being distracted by the trees. Like I'm not paying attention to the energy. I'm just going to allow myself to just enjoy the beauty of what's happening around me. And sometimes we need that. We need to distract ourselves with the beauty and not forget that the universe is just such an amazing place to look at. And it helps to get you beyond the energy that's happening. I'm a severe empath, so energy is a big thing for me to feel, to sense, to go through and process. And same when there's a lot of people around. It's a big daunting thing to get through. But anyway, a lot of the universe is exactly what I'm seeing also. I think the high priestess, I'm looking forward to when that energy comes in. I feel like a lot of us are already evolving into that energy and into that being of who she is and the strength that she is. So with that, I'm going to be quiet now and pass it back to Colleen.
All right. So we are going to choose some people from the studio audience. If you want to either raise your hand or raise your etheric hand, if you want a reading, please keep in mind, Kathi and I try to keep these to an hour. So we are going to only be able to get to 3, maybe 4 people. But also keep in mind that even if you don't get chosen this time, of course, there's a next time and a next time, but also that what is being said for somebody else might definitely resonate for you on some level, that you might still get something out of it no matter what. So we've got hands raised, and also I'm going to let Kathi choose first, but
Okay.
prepare to give us your date of birth, because I like to look at the vibration of your date of birth as well. Kathi, do you want to choose first?
So the first person that really drew me in was Yana, and I'm hoping I'm saying your name correctly. So if you could unmute yourself and give us your date of birth, that would be awesome.
Hi, Yana.
You're still muted.
Yeah, let me see if I can help you out here.
'78.
There you are.
There you are.
Oh, you can hear me now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Yana. What is your date of birth?
November 14th, 1978.
Oh my gosh, November 14th. So you got a birthday coming up. I'm sorry, what was the year?
1978.
1978. Do you have a specific question or focus, or do you want to just see what your angels and guides have to say?
Can I do both or not?
Sure. What's your focus?
More on the financial aspect.
All right. Financial. And I'm going to let Kathi go first.
It's interesting because the very first thing that I'm being guided to for you is I keep going into family, like a family connection, and it's about the family, like some dynamic that's happening in the family realm. And I also know that it's sort of a little bit aside from what you asked us to look at. So you may ask us the question, but Spirit's going to take us where we need to go for
Yeah.
you. So, um, but I also feel like I just want to let you know because they're being very brief with that whole dynamic about the family is that is in the process of being taken care of, if you can understand that. So it's almost like you just need a little more patience, is what I keep getting. We all love the P word. None of us really love the patience word. But again, like it's going to evolve and be able to like get you through. I also know that you're in a transition as far as like work is concerned, as far as the financial piece. There's something that it feels like you're working so hard to make it happen. Like I'm trying so hard to get this one thing to happen. And you have like such bold, big faith with that. I just want to say that I kind of want to be your cheerleader and go, yes, go, 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 go. But there's one thing, and I'm going to lean in, so it's getting serious now. There's one thing that you have in your concept of what you want to do. You want to take it that one step further, but the fear is overwhelming for you because it's a big leap of faith. So whatever way you want to transfer what you're doing into, like kind of into something, they're saying to go. Like go, go, go. Before your birthday comes on the 14th, muster yourself. It's so funny. I want to say pull up your big girl panties and just go. Because it's like you have to get this started before your birthday comes. Because then once your birthday comes, it's going to kind of like grab it and just move it on. Like clarity is going to come with what you're doing. Clarity is going to evolve and shift you into what you're doing. And all of a sudden, everything is going to start to connect for you. So the more you can be true to yourself and really listen to what is bringing you joy, because it's going to bring you so much happier than what you're trying to make work in the moment. Because I almost feel you're like, it's so funny. They just use things that I know, so I'll just say that. But it's almost like you're saying, I've only got 2 more years to retire, and then I get the golden handshake.
Yeah,
And it's sort of, and
you're
it's
right.
like, I want to tell you to like, don't wait for that, because I almost feel like you're going to be waiting for something that's not going to happen. Like, just go.
Like I have tears in my eyes. Like you're spot on.
Like, just do it. That whole Nike commercial, just do it. But yeah, it's going to be amazing. It really is going to be amazing. And I feel like once you start to really allow yourself to go there, it's going to go like it's starting like this big and it's just going to kind of expand and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like you're really meant to create something of your own and get out there and be the true you that you've been here, that you're here for in this lifetime to do. If not now, when? Gonna have to come back next lifetime and do it all over again.
So
Might as well just go for the gusto and take a risk.
so true. So true.
Yeah. So it's everything is going to start to come in alignment. I really feel like your birthday year next year is going to be really, really powerful for you. And very much like bringing the wealth that you're looking for, bringing all the funds that you're looking for and what you need. So yeah, everything is going to transfer. By this time next year, it's going to be a totally looking different life for you and
Well,
a very happy
soon.
one.
I'm hoping that I can share that next year.
Happy, happy, happy. So with that, I'm going to put myself on mute and let Colleen take it from here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kathy. So, I was gonna pick you too, Yana, so now I gotta pick somebody else. But anyway, I'm gonna say the same thing as far as this. I don't know if Kathy said relationship or home and family. I think she said family stuff. You're definitely going into a year that's gonna focus on some home and family stuff. I feel like you're coming out of a birthday year that was maybe like a little bit of a roller coaster with lots of change and redirection, and some of that maybe was with relationships. In fact, they were sharing with me about like these, they called it like relationship assignments, like your soul was assigned to be in these certain relationships and these certain situations unfolding that were happening, and some of it, being redirected and needing to bring things back into balance within relationships if there was like a lack of equality or a lack of mutual support, that there was a lot of that going on, that a lot of that shifting. I feel like as we move again into that birthday year, it becomes more of a focus again on really close relationships in home and family, and also creative self-expression, communications. They're talking about shifting your mindset and your belief systems from glass half empty to glass half full. And things start to kind of, from that like chaotic roller coaster of this past year, it starts to kind of ease out and come into balance a little bit. Now, as far as the financial stuff, the question with that, they were showing me the sacral chakra, and they were saying we need to like activate this sacral chakra, which to me is like the goddess chakra. It's the creative self-expression, it's the emotions, the feelings, you know, the sensual, passionate sort of energies, which is why I call it the goddess chakra. So we need to activate that, activate your passion. Like, what are you passionate about? And to be passionate within yourself, with your own energies. And with this activation of the sacral chakra, it's going to help to activate, well, I guess creative self-expression is part of that, because they're saying you're moving into that year of expanded creative self-expression. So by doing that, it's going to activate the finances to start rolling in. They said to focus on, what do you appreciate in the present moment? Who do you appreciate? What do you appreciate? What are you grateful and thankful for? If you focus on that right now, it's going to help to increase, you know, abundance, prosperity, blessings, opportunities to kind of come in. And they said, as a Scorpio, you know, this is where my astrology comes in. As a Scorpio is a fixed sign. So sometimes you can be like holding on too tight to something, or being a little obsessive, compulsive with something. And so if we're talking about money and finances and the financial, they almost said you need to take a step back. You're holding on to something too tight, holding on to an idea or a thought, or how you want it to unfold and look like, that you're holding on to that too tight. They said, if you let go and just allow yourself to be like this open channel to divine cosmic energies, that it's all going to start to flow in, and come in. So I agree with Kathi. She said something about just do it. This is take a bold step, or it says bold step forward, right? So we're taking a bold step forward. You also got river, which movement. So it's time to move. Now, I think that here in the maybe the next couple of weeks before your birthday, this is where you need to just surrender and maybe take a step back. This is like a reflection time period before you go into your next birthday year. But after a couple of weeks goes by, it's like movement and taking bold steps, taking inspired action, they also said, is going to assist you with the financial piece. It's going to help to move you forward into the financial piece. At that time, when your birthday comes around, no more looking back and only moving forward, only looking forward. So there's just some adjustments again with that Scorpio fixed holding on too tight energy. And maybe some of what you're holding on too tight to is, again, perspectives or perceptions or belief systems about your finances, about how abundant you can be. So take this opportunity before your birthday to kind of move through and adjust and shift what needs to appear in the mental body, in order to, again, become this open channel to move forward and to come up with these new ideas and this new creative self-expression that's going to expand and move you into new opportunities. So I hope that was helpful.
Super helpful. Thank you, Colleen, and thank you, Kathi. Really appreciate it. Spot on, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Yana. All right, so now I've got to choose. Let's see. Spirit leading me to... I'm being drawn to Casey. So Casey, if you want to unmute yourself and give us your date of birth.
It's January 27th of 2000.
January 27th of 2000. And do you have a specific question or concern, or just want to see what your angels and guides have to say?
I would like to see if you could hear anything about my chronic fatigue.
Okay, so health stuff. Okay. All right, Kathi.
Just have to unmute myself. I almost forgot to unmute myself. It's interesting because there's something, I was getting I'm just trying to get them to be a little clearer. So give me just a moment. It's interesting because the first card that came out when I was focused, because I always focus ahead of time on the next person, or I let them focus on the next person. And I was getting sage, like sage came up and I was like, oh, cleansing and clearing, protection, like I was getting those things. And it's a lot of like listening to yourself, going within and listening to yourself to see what's happening. I'm not getting anything. And again, I'm not a medical intuitive. So let me just say that right up front. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. But again, it's just allowing yourself to sort of like get yourself through what you're going through, because I feel like whatever you're trying to create or the business that you have, do you do yoga?
Yeah, I'm starting to do yoga more. Yeah.
Okay. Because I kept seeing you doing yoga. So I'm like, she's got to be doing yoga because I keep seeing it. It's allowing yourself to kind of go through that and process your energy. I feel like you're shifting into like a different energetic space. I also know, like, have you been watching your food? Because I feel like you've been like intensely starting to like really watch what you're eating. It's so funny.
Um,
I want to say to you, and clearly I'm not one to judge when it comes to food, so I'll just say that. I know you guys can only see me from here up, but yeah, I want to say to you to Google vibrational food plan, like to look up a vibrational food plan. There is such a thing, I know, because I actually found it by accident. So I will just say that. But again, if we're raising our vibration, then we want to eat foods that are high vibration. I also think that it's going to align with you doing the yoga. And I feel like it's going to come together. The other thing that I'm kind of being guided is, have you checked on like if you're anemic?
yeah, I've went to the doctor and
Okay,
she.
because I just keep feeling like that kind of feeling. That's the only reason why I was saying that. I'm not saying that you are. I'm just thought I'd ask because that's what I keep sort of feeling. But I think it's the vibration that's within you. Like you're becoming a more enlightened being, and I know you know that already. And so I also think that they're starting to fine tune your palate and your food and your body. So I feel like that's what's like lowering your energy. The other thing also is I would highly recommend, if you don't aren't already doing it, you might want to like learn some energy healing technique, like whether it's Reiki or something else. You might want to learn that for yourself, because I think it's going to start to teach you how to work with energy that's not yours.
Mhm.
So because I kind of feel like you're healing people, but you don't know that you're healing people. So funny. We're such magnets now. I'm just going to say that, especially when you're an empath and a very intense empath, because I feel like you are.
Yeah.
We tend to like, we can just walk by somebody that's going through something and it's like, okay, I was fine just a minute ago and something's clearly happened now. So yeah, it's just constantly asking yourself, is this my energy? So start to kind of be still and be quiet and say, is this my energy? If you know that you were happy just a second ago and now you just like, are you like, ah, like you're frustrated or you have that intense energy, just ask yourself, is this my energy? Or do I need to release this? I work with Archangel Michael. I just have him I'm like, yeah, Archangel Michael, take it away because it's not mine. Just take it away and just release it. So there's a lot of things that are coming in alignment for you, a lot of like awareness and getting to really know yourself and your body, your mind, is your spirit. I'm not saying don't go to any doctors. That's not at all what I'm suggesting. But I'm not getting a technical reason for you why you have this. If you did the anemic part, it could also be just going to a naturopath and seeing if there's maybe some supplements that you may need, because I keep seeing that as well. So working in alignment, like the scientific working with the holistic, to be able to do that. And why we're talking about energy work, you might want to have somebody do some energy work on you. Somebody that knows how to remove something if there's attachments,
Hmm.
because I'm kind of getting that also. So yeah, you don't live near Connecticut by any chance, do you?
No.
I didn't think so. But anyway, just make sure that you find and ask them, be specific. If there's an attachment on somebody, can you remove it? And hopefully they'll be honest about that, the person that you talk to, because that might help you also. There's just a lot. There's a lot around you, a lot that I'm seeing visually and healing wise around you that can definitely be fixed, and you becoming more aware of who you are and why you're here, because you're a very light being. You're a light worker, light being. So yeah, so as you move into this vibration, things are going to feel more intense. It's going to be more exhausting, Plus, we have our universe that's not helping us with any of that. So I'll just say that because of the full moons and things that Colleen and I were talking about. And that's why we can't sleep when we're exhausted. That's why, the energy is shifting and we can feel it. So just allow yourself to sort of go through that. I love that you're doing yoga. I think that's going to help you also with the alignment and the calmness and the sort of like getting your mindset into that quiet time, that connectedness. But for you, and like a lot of us, we have that monkey mind, so it's not as easy for us to just sit, be still, and be quiet. But that slow movement for you is just very, very, very good for you. Very good for you. And if you have Qigong or Tai Chi around you, that would be amazing for you also, because it's working with energy, working with shifting energy and moving energy. If you ever watch them do it, it just kind of fascinates me to watch them. I get very tired watching them, but in a very calm, positive way, not like exhausted, but just it's like watching ballet to me.
Yeah.
I'm mesmerized by it. So I'll just put it that way. But I also love doing it. So yeah. So with that, I'm just gonna send it to Colleen. I'm just taking a quick peeky poo just to make sure I didn't forget anything. Something about you learning how to ground also. Like I always think of like my favorite thing to do is to be a tree. It's where your roots go down into the earth, like deep, 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 deep. And then your branches go up so that you're literally connected from spirit to earth. So it grounds you in both ways, and then balancing yourself, like centering yourself in your solar plexus in the center of your body. You know what I mean? And just kind of like doing this visual for yourself. It's just very calming and will help you also to be very grounded and very solid. It's kind of
Okay.
funny because I actually get that from this card. Oh, see if I can get that in there. There's like this beautiful tree, but there's an owl in there, which I absolutely love that. It's called the trunk is what the name of the card is. But it's like that. It's giving you that groundedness, but also giving you the visual to know and to see. So I know that you're starting to shift your path to come in alignment with who you are, right?
Yeah.
Good. Because that will also help you to become very clear with who you are and why you're here. Doesn't mean you have all the answers. That's not what I mean. But being on that path and being in alignment with that is really, really going to help you a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to pass it. Now I'm going to be quiet and pass it.
All right. So it's first I have to say, Kathi, that it's interesting you brought up the tree and you got the tree card, because that's literally what I posted on Facebook this morning for my inspirational post, is like being like the tree with your roots going into the earth and being, that strength and resilience. And so it's very interesting that you brought that up. But for you, Casey, I feel like, I agree with everything that Kathi was saying, and we usually do agree with each other, but I was getting some similar information. They literally said she's going through a death and rebirth process. So, when it comes to the chronic fatigue, the tiredness, you are shifting from a birthday year of endings, completion, healing, releasing, purging. And this is emotional and mental body stuff, but it can also be aspects of your life, situations and whatnot, because you're literally getting ready as you move into your birthday in January. You're literally getting ready for a new beginning, a fresh start, planting new seeds. And so as you're going through this death and rebirth process, and the emotional and mental body clearing, releasing, and letting go, it can cause a great amount of fatigue sort of energy, what feels like chronic fatigue. I feel the same. I don't necessarily get a like physical reason why, you're experiencing this. It feels very energetic, but just like Kathi, of course, go to your doctor and get, whatever test you, want to get and find out. But I feel like this is, and they were also saying because she's an Aquarius, they said because she's an Aquarius, she's also very empathic with like world events, with humanity's events, because Aquarius is the sign of humanity. And like some of us, like Kathi and I, are very empathic, maybe one-on-one. And when we're around people that are emotional and going through something, we pick up and we feel those feelings and emotions, those energies. But for you as an Aquarian, it's more of a worldwide view. And because there's been, floods and fires and earthquakes and hurricanes and, I don't know where you live, but I feel like you're empathically picking up on Earth Mother Gaia and the planetary shifting, or even world events like war that might be in another country. I feel like you're getting more sensitive. As we all evolve, we get more energetically sensitive as layers are peeled away. And I feel like you're getting more energetically sensitive to what's going on a collective level. So, make sure that you understand that it might not just be about you and your physical body, but also about that. But again, it's coupled with, again, you going through this process of the releasing and letting go. And they were showing like confusion in the mental body. So again, in a time of endings and moving into a time of new beginnings, when you're in this 2-year cycle of endings and new beginnings, you kind of release aspects of yourself or situations that you are in that include career and job and living situation. And you're left with, well, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know where to go next. And so I feel like some of that mental body confusion of, do I go this way or that way? Do I make this choice or that choice? What do I go? Where do I go next? Or who am I now as things are kind of falling away or things are slowly transitioning for me? I feel like that also is part of what's going on for you. And they were showing like they were showing a lot of water, which is interesting because Aquarius is a air sign. And I'm like, where's all this water coming from? But they were showing like water, like waves, the ebb and flow of the waves, where there's currents of emotions coming up and then it like ebbs away and you feel maybe a little bit better. And then it comes up, and this can deal with chronic fatigue too, where it's just kind of this ebb and flow. But beyond that water kind of element visualization, they were also showing being like on or near the ocean or a lake or whatnot. Do you live anywhere near water? What state are you in?
I'm in Tennessee and I live near the Hiwassee River.
Okay. So I feel like when you can, they said be close to water. And like Kathi was talking about being in stillness or something. I don't know how she phrased it, but they were talking about you being kind of in solitude and stillness within yourself. Because again, these next few months, as you wind up this birthday year, it's a clearing, it's a cleansing, it's a releasing, it's a going within, it's surrendering, it's having faith and trust in what's coming next. And to kind of adopt this idea of being a little kid on Christmas morning, all excited, like, what's next? What am I going to get? What new gifts is Santa bringing me? And even if there's things that are changing or falling away, whether it be aspects of yourself or again, situations, know that spirit universe is bringing you something new. They actually gave me the card opportunity here. And I feel like this card has dual meaning because first it's talking about these new opportunities that are going to be coming in your next birthday year, just the beginning, the planting of the seeds of them. But this is also the caterpillar. And so I feel like you're in that cocoon sort of stage. You're in this caterpillar stage and getting ready to blossom from the caterpillar and into the beginnings of the butterfly. You're going to get ready to kind of spread your wings into something new. Is it going to happen overnight? Probably not. Is it going to happen all within the next birthday year? Probably not, but you'll see the beginnings of it for sure. It's going to, go on beyond that, right? As we transform. They also brought up the word freedom, and that's kind of a key word for Aquarius: liberation, freedom, independence, but they specifically said freedom. And as an Aquarius, freedom is important. And I feel like they were kind of posing the question to you, or this is kind of the message that came through, is where in your life do you not feel free? Where do you have to free yourself? Do you have to free yourself from an emotion or a mindset? Do you have to free yourself from a person or a relationship that's not balanced and harmonious? Do you need to free yourself from a situation that no longer is vibrating to where you're going next? So I feel like they want you to really think about this idea of freedom. They said you have a lot of spiritual support. In fact, earlier when I was talking about the collective messages, and I talked about Archangel Zadkiel came in with the violet flame energy, but then I mentioned Saint Germain as an ascended master that also helps with the violet flame. Well, Saint Germain came in for you. So this is you visualizing, and this is going to help with the chronic fatigue as well, because the violet energy, the purple violet energy, or the purple violet flame, It's a transmuting energy, but it's a high vibrational color. It relates to the crown chakra. And Aquarius to me is crown chakra energy. As an Aquarius, I feel like you receive downloads, you receive an ability to channel divine wisdom and knowledge through that crown chakra. So this purple violet flame, calling in Saint Germain and saying, surround me in your violet flame, and just visualize the violet light around you to transmute any lower vibrational energies as you're moving through the last few months of this year in this process of death and rebirth, coming back full circle around to the first message. This is going to be a very important spiritual aspect. In fact, the caterpillar again catches my eye. It's also purple. So we've got a lot of violet purple energy here that needs to be kind of focused on. But you have a lot of spiritual support and you're moving into a time of abundance. You're moving into, again, these new beginnings that are going to be bringing you new opportunities. But for right now, till the end of this year, just surrender and focus on kind of releasing and letting go, and know that the chronic fatigue energies, from what I'm seeing, is more about the ebb and flow of the emotions, the releasing and the healing on the emotional body and the mental body level. It's like you're going through it, right? And just like if we run a race, let's say we run a 10K race or something, you're going to be tired and you're going to need to rest afterwards. This is kind of like you running through a spiritual race. You're running through this spiritual race, and you're going to need more time to rest at this time within this birthday year energy that you're still in. So I think that's it. One last, and this is a very uplifting message, and I'll even just show you the card. It's not so much the Ascended Master on it, which is Orion, but it says Manifestation Vortex. You're going to be entering, maybe you're in it already, but you're at least when you go into that new birthday year of new beginnings, planting new seeds, fresh starts, you're going to be in a manifestation vortex. And it says, focus your energy with unwavering faith. There's that faith word again, to manifest the outcome that you require. So again, with your physical health and well-being, visualize having immense amounts of energy and, feeling like seeing yourself jumping in the air with joy. And like, that's part of the manifestation process, to visualize what it is your desired outcome is. So I hope that this reading has helped from Kathi and I.
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, Kathi, you get to choose.
So I was drawn to Kara.
Okay, where's Kara? With a C. All right, Kara.
Yes.
Hi,
Hi, what's your date of birth?
for April 16th, 1977.
April 16th, 1977. So
All
general
youngins.
messages. Whoops.
All youngins.
Yeah.
Thank you.
General messages from your angels and guides, or do you have a specific question or concern?
I think marriage. My question is potential marriage.
Okay. And we'll let Kathi go first as usual.
It's interesting because I was like, yeah, I was definitely going to go with some type of connection with somebody because I was already getting that. And I'm like, well, she'll ask her question. It'll all become clear is how I'm always thinking. There's definitely some, like, I feel like we're on a rocky grounding with that. I know that there's sort of like trying to grow and evolve through things and sort of trying to come back in alignment with each other. Does that make sense to you, Kara?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you don't have to tell me anything. It's just yes or no. I keep getting that there's like a lot of influence though, like almost like there's a lot going on around the two of you that is sort of leading things into sort of it's so funny. I just want to tell you, like, go take a vacation. Like just the two of you. Take a vacation away from everything because I feel like it's just overwhelming. Like it feels very, very overwhelming. And I'm going to show this. I'm going to cover the word because the words on the bottom of the cards don't always mean something, but this is a lot of what I'm seeing around you. It's just like there's just like a lot going on around the two of you that I think it's almost like you can't clear your mind enough to have like a general conversation or an aligning conversation, if that makes sense. I know that you're feeling, and you again, you tell me whether I'm right or wrong, but this card keeps pulling me in, which is the woman with the heart. Like it just keeps pulling me in for you. So it's like this feeling and this sensation of like, okay, I feel like I have everything, like I'm giving everything and I'm not getting anything in return. Like almost that feeling is what that card leads me into. And it doesn't mean that, just because these things are happening, it doesn't mean that the two of you are not going to work out. It doesn't mean that you can't work it. One thing that I know about you, or I feel about you, or they're telling me about, I probably should put it this way, they're telling me about you, is that you are going to try everything in this relationship. And that if it comes to the point to where you feel like you need to separate, you will at least be able to walk away knowing that I tried everything. Like I did everything that I feel like I could have done. I do feel like he's like just I feel a lot of distraction around him. Like just a lot of like my mind is not in the right place, if that makes sense. But I really feel like you guys need some time together. Like away if you have children, if there's family, like you just need the two of you to go, even if it's just an overnight, to be able to just have, time where you can just seriously talk to each other. And that's one of the things that I would highly recommend because I keep getting it over and over and over again. I do know that that energy is going to shift and change. I do know that things will become clear or clearer as to what's really happening. And I also want to tell you that I feel as though, or they're telling me, I would say but they're telling me that things are not going to be what you think in your mind is happening, if that makes sense. We know, and I'm just going to say this, you leave women alone for too long in a relationship where the partner's not saying anything and we have them cheating. We have them, they're going to leave us. They've got another family somewhere. Like we go into those really dark mindset moments. But I feel like whatever is not being relayed to you, I think it's going to be much easier to deal with when you are able to get some clarity. And I would highly recommend to you to be very forthright. It's so funny. Somebody just said something to me yesterday, and that's exactly what they're showing me. Somebody that I did a reading for yesterday. They're like, before we got together, I told him we will talk about these things. We will go down that path. You are going to communicate clearly with me. Like she told him all of this before they got married. And it's almost like that's what I would tell you to do is like, we are going to talk about this and we're not leaving where we are until we get this clear. And that's, I would just, but I will also say to you, if you are going to go that route, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to hear whatever is going to come and allow him to say whatever the issue is. Because again, if you know what's going on, you have a better chance of getting things healed. Because I'm just going to put it that way. Whether it's healing, and now I know that we need to separate for a minute, whether it's healing that the two of you can now work together. It's a lot of self-will. So I can't tell you you're not meant to be together. And I can't tell you that you are meant to be together. What I can tell you is that you're together now, which we already know that. Everybody on here knows that. But I think you just need to sort of align yourself with what's going on. I think like stories have been created and I don't feel like they're real. Like I feel like it's a facade because I don't think he's able to clearly communicate what's really happening. And he might not 100% really know what's happening, but I have a feeling that when the two of you are alone, you'll be able to come together to sort of help each other figure out what's going on. And I feel hopeful for this. I'll be honest. I feel hopeful for this because I know the love is definitely there because I can feel it and not just on your end. So I'll say that. So yeah, you need stability. That's the other big, it's funny because the tree came up for you, just came up as stability though. The same picture that I showed, the other person that we spoke to, because she's not here anymore. But yeah, it just came up differently for you. It's like you need stability. That conversation, this is the stability. The communication's a big thing for the two of you. And being able to feel like you can speak clearly to each other, like that's huge. And that's really what I would tell you to 100% focus on. Because I think you're going to be able to heal a lot of things just from having clear communication. But you also have to be prepared. Empaths are not easy to hear things because we take it personal every time, but allow yourself to hear it, feel what you feel, and then kind of then get back to the conversation. Like allow yourself to then go back to the conversation so that you can work through that. So yeah. So with that, I'm just gonna leave it there, put a pin in it, and pass it to Colleen.
All right, Kara, did you shift around on me? Where are you here? Oh, there you are. Okay. So the first card that I pulled for you, and I'm gonna show it to you, but I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, like this is not a good card, because every other card, every other message I got from your angels and guides was all very uplifting. But it showed me this all tied up, like feeling like, oh my God, like we're kind of like tied up, we're bound, we're not able to be free, or we're not. Oh, did you get that too? Holy cow. Okay. So Kathi and I both got this card, right? And I want to tell you that as an astrologer, we've had the North Node and South Node, and I know you guys don't know what that means necessarily, but in the relationship axis of Aries and Libra. Aries is about the self, and Libra is about relationships and partnerships in the other. And this has been going on for the past over 12 months. And so the collective has been doing a lot of healing, shifting, having challenges, having to have greater awareness, do some healing in regards to relationship matters, and whether that be a romantic, friendship, family, even maybe business partner kind of thing. Relationships have been highlighted karmically speaking, okay? Where the North Node, well, let's start with the South Node. The South Node in Libra, the partnership sign, the South Node is about the past and past lives. And this is about the scales of balance. And I mentioned this earlier about things being unequal. Like there's lack of compromise, there's lack of equality, there's lack of cooperation, there's lack of us being kind of on a similar, in a similar place here, right? The scales are out of balance. That's what the South Node is about. And again, this has been the past over a year. It's going to be a few more months yet till the end of this year, going into next, before we shift out of this focus of relationship imbalance. The North Node is where we're supposed to be going, what we're supposed to be aspiring towards. And it's an Aries, the sign of the self. That is, what are my wants? What are my needs? I need to be maybe more independent. I need to be more confident in myself, maybe more self-sufficient. Now, that doesn't mean I can't be in a relationship, but this is where the balance comes in. I need to be more like in myself. Who am I? I'm not just, half of this relationship. I'm an individual too. And this is where all these lessons are coming in. And first of all, I agree with Kathi, communication is the number one most important thing. And sometimes we have a difficult time, whether it be man or a woman, communicating our needs, communicating our thoughts, communicating our emotions. But oh, it's so important. And just to confirm, Kathi saying, go, the two of you take a trip somewhere. I got forest. It's like feel like you need to go out in nature. You need to go out together into a bed and breakfast or the quiet of nature, a little cabin in the woods. I don't know, or even if it's just walking, even if it's just taking a hike together for a couple of hours, and not just so you can see the pretty trees and nature, but so you can talk and be real and truthful, and maybe holding hands while you're doing it. But they were saying that the both of you are going through this kind of body, mind, soul detox, if you will. You're going through a cleansing and a clearing because those nodes are in the relationship, axis. And so from there, everything to me looked like hope and new beginnings. And Archangel Shamuel came in, and he's the archangel of soulmates. And Shamuel's message was about opening the heart, again, being real. Let's talk about our feelings. I've felt scared. I've felt abandoned. I've felt, angry or frustrated or whatever it is. Sometimes the conversation is hard, but we need to open the heart chakra and express those feelings, but we can do so with unconditional love and compassion. I got Mother Mary, unconditional love. We need to see each other as the souls that we are, right? We're all sacred souls. and we all come from the divine. And our human self, our ego self, the personality self is coloring, this sense of connectedness, this unconditional love that we have for one another, which I do believe you have for one another. I also got sacred connection. I feel like this is a sacred connection between the two of you. But they said we need to overcome these challenges. We need to overcome any limitations or difficulties before we get married. This is going to make us, if we can move through this and talk about this and clear this, it's going to make us stronger from the get-go before we move into committing, right? If we committed and things are like left unsaid and things are unbalanced and unequal and we're not mutually supporting one another, that's not a good way to start. So let's get it out of the way now. We've got November, December. I'm going to say about 3 more months of the nodes being in Libra and Aries, where we can work on clearing this out before we move into, now we're in a better place. But I got Archangel Phanuel, which is not an archangel you hear often, and again, Shamuel came in earlier, but this is hope, optimism, and new beginnings. So I do believe that there is the opportunity for that. I also got a card that said miracles. So believe in miracles, because I feel like, again, miracles can happen. But now it takes 2 people. You can't do all the work. We're giving you the messages, but you can't do it by yourself. And hopefully he's in a mindset where he's aware of what's going on or what needs to be addressed. Hopefully he's in a mindset that he'll put in the work 50-50, like you, in a balanced way, and want to move through this. But I do feel like if he does, I feel like it can be healed. I feel like it can be healed, and that you guys can move to a better place. And also too, just from a numerology standpoint, right? Your birthday was in April. So you are in a time of new beginnings. And think about, we think of new beginnings, we're like, yes, new beginnings, great, new opportunities and blessings. And yeah, that can be part of it. But think about a new beginning like a new birth. Think about a woman giving birth to a child. It's a long, arduous process sometimes, and it's painful, right? So this new beginning, this year of new beginnings for you can feel like there's challenges. It might be painful sometimes. It might take a long time to move through something to kind of get it going into this state of the new potential that it has. And the way this new beginning birthday year shows up for you is that it's all about mutual empowerment in relationship. It's about feeling mutually empowered within your relationship. And next year on your birthday in April 2025, you are moving into a year that focuses more on the partnership. Right now, it's focusing more on you and healing you and taking your power back. And hopefully he's doing his own work. I don't know what his numbers are. I don't know what his astrological sign is.
He's a Libra.
He's a Libra. So he's going through it.
Yeah.
Right? So this is, I feel like this is a very positive potential time to bring in the healing that's needed. So have the conversations with him, and I feel like you can, well, I'm going to say you can make it happen, but you both can make it happen. Okay.
Thank you both.
Yes, you're very welcome. All right. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Again, the next Cards and Coffee is November 17th on a Sunday. I hope, even if you didn't get picked, that you got something out of it. We appreciate your love, support, your interaction, and actually still being here while we're winding up the Cards and Coffee. Kathi, do you want to say anything?
No, thank you all for coming. Not much else to say. I'm glad that you're all here.
Yes. Thank you so
And
much.
hopefully we'll see you next month.
Yes, and if you do want to watch this again or share it with somebody, remember it'll be uploaded on my YouTube channel under Colleen Lemma a little bit later. And we hope to see you again for this event or something else. So blessings of love
Absolutely.
and light, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.